The film opens as we see a child being brought into the world in West Philadelphia. This is Elijah Price. Elijah is weak to the point that he is brought into the world with broken arms and legs. As he becomes older, he is insulted at school and called Mr. Glass by his cohort since he is so delicate. As a grown-up, he runs a fruitful extravagant comic book craftsmanship exhibition having some expertise in unique drawings of superheroes. David Dunn is a safety officer at the neighborhood school arena. His marriage is disintegrating and the truth is told. His better half, Audrey Dunn, rests down the stairs in their child's room, and David dozes higher up with his child. Coming back home from a new employee screening in New York, David's train glitches and crashes, killing everybody on board except David. He doesn't have a scratch. After the commemoration administration for the accident casualties, David tracks down a note on his windshield. It's from a store named Restricted Edition, Elijah's store, and the note inquires, "How long of your life have you been wiped out?" David asks his chief and his significant other, however nobody can at any point recall him being wiped out. David takes his child to Restricted Edition where he meets Elijah. Elijah discloses his hypothesis to David. Assuming that Elijah can be brought into the world with weak bones and effectively hurt, shouldn't there be somebody the specific inverse? Elijah has investigated each catastrophe to track down the last one standing without a scratch yet has had no karma. Following quite a while of looking, he at long last have found one in David Dunn. David believes it's intriguing, however truly thinks Elijah is nuts. Back at the arena, David gets a call that there is somebody there attempting to sneak in and request David. It's Elijah and he begins clarifying his comic book hypotheses to David. Speculations about regular men being superheroes, having abilities they haven't yet understood, etc. David chances upon a person in line and tells the security toward the stopping point to begin searching individuals. They watch as the person David knocks into, sees everybody being searched, and leaves the line. Elijah asks David what was truly going on with that, and David lets him know that when he knocked him, he had a picture of a particular sort of handgun. David returns to work, however Elijah follows the person David chanced upon. They go down a long stairway, Elijah falls breaking his leg and breaking a few different bones, yet the last thing he sees is the man's handgun, similarly as David depicted it. Elijah was correct, David has some sort of exceptional gift. Back at home, David is working out in the storm cellar with his weight set. His child accepted all that Elijah said about David being a saint with an extraordinary gift. David actually doesn't accept. David requests that his child drop some weight, yet without him knowing, he puts more weight on. David lifts 250 pounds, the most he's consistently finished. His child keeps putting on more weight until David is currently up to 350 pounds. He has had this strength up and down that he won't ever know. Elijah needs his leg rehabbed and his attendant is Audrey, David's better half. Elijah poses her inquiries about her and David, and she discloses to him how when they were going out, David was a star football player yet got an fender bender because of cold streets. David at no point played football in the future. It was a direct result of that she and David were hitched. Had he kept on playing, she realizes they would have become separated. Back working, David gets a call from his child's school that his child has been harmed. His child had trusted that a portion of David's superhuman qualities had come off on him. He attempted to safeguard somebody that was being singled out and on second thought got injured all the while. The school nurture recalls David from when he was at that equivalent school. As a matter of fact, it was a direct result of David that they have severe principles about the pool. It appears to be that David had been singled out close to the pool when he was an understudy there. He fell in and was left in the pool to suffocate. He was found at the lower part of the pool, yet some way or another made do. David recounts this story to Elijah, that as a matter of fact, David can get injured. Elijah lets him know that each hero has a shortcoming. David's kryptonite is water. The water from the pool and the water from the cold streets. David's significant other concludes that his enduring the train crash is an indication that perhaps they should give their marriage another attempt. They go out on a date and he discloses to her that he felt their marriage was over when he quit, awakening her after he had a terrible dream. The following evening, David breaks into the train station and analyzes a portion of the destroyed trains. He begins reviewing his own fender bender from years sooner and recalls that he wasn't harmed in any way. As a matter of fact, he needed to utilize his godlike solidarity to save Audrey from the blazing vehicle. Goes to Elijah and lets him know he is correct, he has never been debilitated or harmed in any capacity. Elijah lets him know that it's no occurrence that David is in the security field. He really wants to go to where individuals are and safeguard them. It's a stormy day and David, wearing a hooded downpour rain guard, heads to Penn Station. Many individuals are cruising by. Whenever somebody catches David, he has a dream of that individual accomplishing something evil. One is a gem hoodlum, another an attacker. However, when the groundskeeper catches him, David gets a horrendous vision. The vision is of the man going to somebody's home and killing the mortgage holder. David, actually wearing the rain guard, presently seeming as though a hero's cape, follows the person as he goes home. The person goes to a decent house in a pleasant area. David sneaks toward the back and tracks down the dead property holder inside. He goes higher up and salvages two sisters restricted in their restroom. He goes into another room and finds the mother restricted. The window is open and David watches out. Whenever he heads back in the other direction, there is the support laborer who pushes David out the window. David lands on the patio pool that has its colder time of year covered on. Out of nowhere, the cover begins falling with David's weight and he gets generally messed up, submerged with the cover. He is suffocating again, yet the two sisters force a post down to him and David snatches it and is saved. David heads back higher up and grapples with the fellow, lastly kills him by breaking his neck. The following scene is David back at home, hanging up his cape, raincoat, and conveying his resting spouse higher up to their bed. She awakens and asks him what's up. "I had an awful dream," he says. Toward the beginning of the day, while eating, David slides the paper over to his child and holds a finger to his mouth to shush him. The feature recounts a secret saint that saved the two young ladies. The image is a drawing of what the young ladies saw. It shows a hero-like figure with a hood and cape. The kid gazes toward his father and David simply grins and gestures. David goes to Elijah's display where Elijah is having a gigantic social affair for an exceptional show. He and David go to Elijah's administrative center so they can talk about what had occurred. Elijah has been in a wheelchair since his fall. He is truly glad for David and they shake hands. Out of nowhere. Very much like Christopher Walken in Stephen King's The Dead Zone, while shaking hands, David has a dream of Elijah setting a structure ablaze, one more vision of Elijah causing a plane accident, lastly, a dream of Elijah leaving the driving compartment of David's train that crashed. David checks out Elijah's office and is appalled at what he sees. News cutouts of many fiascos from around the world. Elijah is the brains behind this multitude of occasions and has arranged them for his own narrow-minded benefit. Very much like in the funnies, each abhorrent lowlife needs a commendable foe, and Elijah has at last seen as his. David steps back with dismay as Elijah, who in his wheelchair presently resembles Professor X of the X-Men, announces, "They call me Mr. Glass." Not long before the last credits, a message gives the idea that says that David reached the specialists and Elijah is presently in a foundation for the criminally crazy. To watch more video like this, click on the videos on your screen, and don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last I will say, stay safe and stay healthy. See you next videos.